Okay, I made the executive decision to paint this red. My decision was based mostly on the fact that I had not realized that I was almost completely out of black paint. I probably have enough of the engine paint, but I didn't have enough of regular paint or gloss black to paint all this stuff. And I did have enough red, just barely enough red to paint these parts. I have at least one complete can of the high temperature enamel, and I'm going to use that to paint the engine parts. But for now I just went with this red, and basically the next thing I need to do is work on the main part of the engine. I need to clean it up some more and get it prepped for paint. I also need to take off the cylinder head, take a look at that, and that'll probably be after the after we come back. Okay, so it's been basically one day, and I have, this stuff's had a chance to dry. It's been painted red. Not the best paint job in the world, but it is a lawnmower engine, so so I'm just going to stick this aside for now, and we're going to put this thing together real quick. Sometimes when you're working on stuff like this, the purpose of what you're doing is not so much to make something perfect, to fully restore it, but to get it to a good working condition and stop things like corrosion, things like that. Let's see if I can remember how this went. Okay. So the purpose of this deal here is that when you pull the throttle back, the throttle is held in place by this nut or bolt, and when you pull back on the throttle, it opens or closes the choke. And then when you kill the engine, it causes this piece of metal to contact this piece of metal, and then the ignition wire is hooked into here, and this shorts it out and shuts the engine down. So this has to contact that, and there's a kind of a bit of a bend in it. So there's that. Alright, so now the next thing I'm going to do is clean up the engine. The parts that were missed when I pressure washed it and everything was still attached. And take the cylinder head off, and we'll check and see what condition the piston and valves are in. Okay, so I was a little busy. I managed to get this pulley off. That was a bit of a fun job. And we're gonna open this thing up, and now I've cleaned it up at least good enough that I can paint the parts of it that need paint. And we've got our little template for bolts. Bolts are going to need some cleanup. They got a little bit of corrosion on them from the aluminum. That's the inside of the head, and it definitely needs some clean. Looks like it's been running a little rich, maybe. It seems to have decent compression, so I'm not going to regrind the valves. I am going to clean this up. Looks like the seal came partially apart, so I'll have to replace that, and I do have one, I hope. Let's see here. No, I'm gonna have to order one. That's great. It's not the right size. Alright. Well, that's not too big of a deal. You know, just catch a little virus. Well, I thought I had a brass brush out here. So, we get set up for cleaning this off, and I'll come back. This is going to get a little noisy. I'm going to turn a fan on and got to put on a dust mask. And yes, that's as much as I'm going to clean it up. So the next thing is I got to clean this up. Trade out positions for this because I don't want to clean this on my desk. So if anyone's wondering why I'm not using a steel brush on this, this is rather soft aluminum, and a steel brush will just eat this up. So the next thing I'm going to do, pull this out, clean this up real good, and give it a coat of paint. And before anyone makes any silly comments about my thumb, it's paint. Okay, so this is just to keep any stray paint from getting in here. On to paint. Can anyone spot the problem? The stuff isn't red. So I thought this was red. In the store it looked red, but it's orange. So I guess it's gonna be two-tone. That's alright, it'll add like an extra half horsepower. Alright, we're going to let that set up for a little bit. Alright, this will be the last coat. And okay, so this will be it for this video, and then the next video will be putting it back together when I get the parts in, which I just ordered. Later.